The second thing, a mistake that I see most people do wrong is, especially if it's like a colder lead, is they don't cause a pattern interruption, right? As someone, I've booked thousands of calls. I've had a bunch of days where I've booked 10 calls in a day, multiple times. Is you see, when you call people in the beginning, they have low trust, especially if it's like a cold lead, right? But if you come in, let's say I'm calling Maria, I was like, Maria, where have you been? See, if I come in like that as a friend, then, you know, it causes a pattern interrupt, and it also makes them feel like, oh, you know, I could trust this person. Or they might even think it is actually a friend that's giving them a call, right? So that's a pretty good one that I use. Second thing is also, like, when calling them, also following up with them on a message, right? So I know I do this every single time, which is like, you know, if they don't respond on the call, I message them. We use this platform called School, and I message them there, and then if they don't respond on the first call, I call them again. I make a second dial, and then on the second dial, it usually ends up working out pretty well. And then from there, what I do is, on that call, I book them into, this is the second thing I want to talk about, which is how to transition it, right? So in the beginning, when you're doing discovery on the call, you know, you could be like, oh, you know, like, for example, let's say you help people make money, let's say like 10K a month, right? You could diagnose them in the beginning, get them to know their situation, ask them certain questions to kind of qualify them, being like, oh, like, are you doing this full time? Are you making money full time? Blah, 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 right? So you kind of get to gauge in where they're at. And then pretty much from there, you can transition, be like, cool, well, what's your goal with this thing? Like, where do you want to take it? Best case scenario, 6 months from now, right? So you kind of get to know what their desire is, right? And then after you know what their desire is, then you can show them, being like, oh, cool, like, I've actually got this thing going on. It's called an XYZ call. You can name it whatever. Like, we call it like school scaling call, for example, right? And inside of that, you could be like, oh, it's designed to, you know, diagnose the number one thing that's holding you back from whatever their goal is. And then 2, helping you create a custom roadmap to whatever the goal is, right? And then I tell them, like, would you like to take advantage of this? Because, you know, if it's something free, if its position is like valuable, people would want to take advantage of it, right? So then from there, they're like, sure, yes, I do want to take that call, right? And then pretty much from there, I'll be like, cool, you send them the link, and then after you send the link, be like, it should only take like a few seconds. Let me know after you've booked in a time live on this call. That way on my end, I can make sure you're not double booked. And then boom, they book. And then after that, pretty much just send them, you send them to like a thank you post or thank you page that kind of nurtures them and gets them ready for the actual sales call.